Death by Xtrole, Part 3. Note, this is just a casual recording, and there may be some reading errors, as was the case with Parts 1 and 2. Chapter 9, Trolling. As the 10 of us traveled towards the inn near the castle, I said this might be irrelevant since that dragon isn't trustworthy, but did some trolls manage to steal the enchanted water gun at one point? I only ask because the dragon told us that the enchanted water gun had been stolen by some trolls. Zelly began laughing hysterically, and Whoosh chuckled and said, "Ha, let me tell you about what happened." So, Zelly and I had just paid for our room at the inn near the castle and then entered the room when we saw that there were trolls waiting in the room for us. "What are you doing here?" Zelly asked suspiciously, and one of the trolls said, "We gotta do this, y'all. We just gotta." "That's right," another troll added while making a pathetic, pleading face at us. "We've been threatened by some brute that if we don't steal an enchanted water gun from you, then we'll be killed. You gotta help us out, please." "Well, that's not good," I said uncertainly, and Zelly said, "They seem to be telling the truth, but I don't know. Should we let that brute win like this?" "Don't worry," one of the trolls assured us. "He only wants it so that he can stop other people from using it against him, and he's even promised that he'll give it back to us so that we can return it to you once the threat has gone away." "Well, we've got an important wedding to attend," I said in the most annoyed-sounding voice that I could muster up, "and so I don't want our time being wasted like this. I say that we just give them the enchanted water gun so that we can have some peace and quiet." "That makes sense," Zelly agreed, and then she pulled a fake enchanted water gun out of her satchel and said, "Here you go, y'all, but be sure to return it once that brute doesn't want it anymore. We'll get it back soon, right?" "Oh, yes," one troll said happily, while taking the fake enchanted water gun from Zelly. "You really bailed us out big time, and so thanks a lot." And another troll said, "Yeah, this means the multiverse to us, and you'll get this enchanted water gun back within 8 days for sure." "Very good," I said. "Now, can we please have some peace and quiet now? We've got a royal wedding to prepare to attend." And the trolls all expressed their gratitude again, and then hurried away to give that brute the fake enchanted water gun. "Ha," Zelly said, once it was obvious that the trolls were now too far away to hear us. "That brute is going to be pretty bummed out once he discovers that he only received the fake enchanted water gun." And I began laughing too and said, "He sure is, though if he actually only wants it to keep other folks from obtaining it for a week or so, then he may not even figure out that it's a fraud." "Oh, that brute will use it, I can almost guarantee you of that," Zelly said, "and those trolls will probably be the first folks who he uses it on, which I suppose might mean that we'll get another visit from them." Ah, I guess we'll just deal with that if it happens, and we won't have to deal with it if it doesn't happen. And so, yeah, then we later encountered you eight questers, and y'all gave us more details about what's going on, and we sure hope that you'll be able to teach that arrogant brute a lesson that he won't forget. Ha 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 ha, Big Bad Wolf said with a smirk. This new information makes old Sonny seem like even more of a bumbling buffoon than he seemed like before, and Zomzom said, I wonder if maybe those trolls knew that the enchanted water gun that they received was fake, but didn't care about that because they wanted to troll the dragon with the fake water gun. I mean, you never really know with trolls, you know? That may very well be true, Detective Runa said in a thoughtful tone of voice, which means that I suggest that we add trolling to our missions list. A marvelous idea, Don said happily, and it works well no matter what those trolls were up to, because Zelly and Whoosh were trolling by giving those trolls a fake water gun. Trolling for the win, Ravana said smugly, and Maine chuckled and said, I never knew that there was such a thing as trolling for justice before, but now I know that there most certainly is, and Hoot said, and so now our quest is about love, life, peace, brains, justice, discovery, history, delivery, humility, and trolling. How absolutely delightful! And the rest of us all cheered and continued traveling along towards Whoosh and Zelly's room at the inn near the castle. Chapter 10 Champion. The 10 of us soon reached the inn near the castle that Zelly and Whoosh were staying at, and since their room was a fancy luxury room that had been gifted to them along with their invitation to the royal wedding, it was big enough for everyone to go inside of it at once. Once we had all gotten inside of the room, Zelly began cooking, and Whoosh grabbed the enchanted water gun and gave it to Big Bad Wolf. Thanks, Big Bad Wolf said gratefully, and I'll be sure to return it after old Sonny has been defeated and the fair wolf damsel has been saved. Very good, Whoosh said, and Zelly added that you should all stay for a while for some food. And you're welcome to stay the night too, so that you can rest up a bit before the big showdown. As much as I'd love to take you up on your offer, I don't want to delay teaching old Sonny a lesson in humility, Big Bad Wolf said, and then he added that the others can stay if they want to, though. I mean, since I have the enchanted water gun, I probably don't really need them. Nonsense, said Maine. I cannot enjoy this luxurious room while knowing that that poor wolf lady hasn't yet been saved, and so you still have my badge. And my brain, Zomzom added. And my white flag, Ravana declared. And my desire to make sure that the wolf lady actually gets saved so that I won't be eaten, I cried out. "And my magnifying glass," Detective Runa said enthusiastically. "And my knowledge of history," Don said gravely. "And my ability to lead you to where that villainous dragon is, since I was just there before I delivered that dumpster fire of a letter to you," Hoot said in a determined tone of voice. "You're all just too good for a big bad wolf like me," Big Bad Wolf said in a surprisingly emotional tone of voice. "And so, you know what? I'm gonna just promise Food that I'm never going to eat him, no matter how this mission goes. I mean, I'm still gonna gobble up humans, don't get me wrong, but it would just feel weird to gobble up Food after all of this questing with him and whatnot. Are you still gonna stay, Food?" I was, of course, very relieved that there was now no way that I was going to be gobbled up by Big Bad Wolf, and I said, "Never fear, I will still champion the virtue of life, for it is the life of the wolf lady of your dreams that has saved my life, and so I couldn't justify abandoning her just because I won't die if I don't help you find your one true love anymore." "Very good, Food," Big Bad Wolf said in a satisfied sounding voice, "though you might want to visit someone like Bricks so that you can get some building supplies to construct a brick house or something. After all, folks like Chuck's aren't going to be refraining from gobbling you up merely because I've decided not to." "That is a good idea," I said with a nervous gulp, "and I shall indeed do that once the wolf damsel has been saved from that wicked dragon." "Well, at least take some food for the road," Zelly said while putting some food into some containers for us. "Y'all are gonna need to be at the top of your game if you want to make sure that you'll defeat that dragon." "Thanks," Ravana said, and the rest of us all voiced our gratitude to her as well, and then we all said farewell to Zelly and Whoosh and set off towards where the evil dragon was holding the wolf lady of Big Bad Wolf's dreams captive. Chapter 11. Malarkey. As Hoot, Dawn, Runa, Maine, Zomzom, Ravana, Big Bad Wolf, and I traveled along, I began snacking on some of the food that Zelly had given to us, and I said, "Wow, this tastes really good." And the others all tried a bit of it too, and they all agreed with me that the food was super yummy. Then suddenly I saw flames all around me, and then I saw a dragon flying away while laughing diabolically. You might be thinking that this is the part of the story where Sunny defeated us and we all got burned to a crisp, but for some reason the grass around us was burnt up, but we didn't really get impacted by the fire at all. I then noticed Big Bad Wolf firing the enchanted water gun towards the dragon who was speeding away, but alas, our dastardly opponent was already out of reach. "Well, this is quite strange," Hoot mused. "I mean, Sunny's fire should have turned us all into ashes, which means," Detective Runa said thoughtfully, "that food that Sully gave to us was probably magical and protected us from being burnt up, though we should probably not expect it to work again because we don't know how long the spell lasts or how much fire it can absorb. The rest of us all agreed that we had probably been protected by magic that had been in the food, and we all continued following Hoot towards where the wolf damsel was being held captive. Eventually, we reached the location, but there was no dragon, no wolf damsel, and there was another one of those stupid messages from Sunny, and so Ravana picked up the message and began reading it out loud to the rest of us. You have all failed, for I decided to gobble up the wolf lady before you could reach me. And then I flew away to another place, of course, since the enchanted water gun was given to you by Whoosh and Zelly. Those useless trolls had better hope that I never find them, or I'll gobble them up too. And I don't know how y'all survived my fiery breath, but maybe it's all for the best, because now I can talk more smack to you. Your virtues were cute, with your love, life, brains, justice, discovery, history, delivery, humility, and trolling. But being cute isn't what saves wolf damsels from being gobbled up by mighty and ferocious dragons like me. And so, now that you've all lost, you can all cry about it or something like that, and I'll be striking fear into more pitiful little morons, many of whom will die to make me fat. But I'll never forget to play with my food and make sure that they feel an enormous amount of terror before they die, and I'll always be sure to ensure that their loved ones endure the maximum amount of suffering and anguish, and I'll relish every tear that they cry, for you are losers, and I am the winner. Which was always how this was going to go, and so I hope that you've all been deeply hurt by this little letter, you pathetic scum, and I'd keep on boasting a bit more, but sadly, I've gotta go. Guys, Dawn said before the cries of anguish and outrage could begin to erupt, the letter's all malarkey. I just looked back in time, and what actually happened is that the wolf lady managed to escape while the dragon was off breathing fire at us, and so Sunny tried to cover up the fact that she'd escaped by writing this evil letter. She's free. Dawn's words managed to calm down the strong emotions of fury and sadness that had been building in the rest of us, and Maine said, "That is quite a relief, though I still don't know if I can rest until Sunny has been brought to justice." I mean, most dragons are actually pretty chill, and having a dragon who's this wicked around is a dangerous thing. I said thoughtfully, maybe what this calls for is us showing the two malevolent letters that we have of Sunny's to some other dragons. Good idea, Food, Big Bad Wolf said. I mean, I wouldn't usually snitch on somebody, but I think that this diabolical lunacy from old Sunny is a case where snitching is very much worth doing. Very good, Ravana said. Does anyone happen to know where any other dragons are, though? I don't know where any are at the moment, Detective Runa said, but I strongly suspect that if we head back to Zelly and Whoosh, then they'll be able to use their magical spells to figure out where some other dragons are right now. Spell-tastic, Brains said approvingly, and the rest of us all agreed that Runa's idea was a good one too, and so the 8 of us all began traveling back towards Whoosh and Zelly in the hopes that they could help us find some benevolent dragons. Chapter 12. Strong. When we arrived back at the door of Whoosh and Zelly's room at the inn near the castle, I knocked on the door, and to my surprise, it was a wolf lady who opened the door for us. "It's her," Dawn said excitedly. "She's the wolf lady who escaped from that wicked dragon." "I am indeed," she said happily, and then she looked at Big Bad Wolf and said, "Oh my, you're so handsome that I forgot that I have feet." "Ah," Big Bad Wolf said, "that's a great pickup line, though I've decided that I'd rather just be friends with you first, and then maybe we'll end up dating each other, or maybe we'll just be friends who might even help find each other wolves to date." "That sounds good to me," she said happily, "and my name's Wolfie, by the way. Do you want to hear the love song that I wrote for you, even though we're just friends?" "Absolutely," Big Bad Wolf said with a grin, and I said, "I can play the banjo while you sing it if you want." "Thanks," Wolfie said, "sounds like a good plan to me." And so I began playing the banjo, and Wolfie began singing her song. "I was captured, yes it's true. Then I was almost saved by you. But then I managed to escape, and you were still so very brave. And I love you, Big Bad Wolf, it's true. Even if it's just a friendship kind of love between me and you. And I know that our love will last, for it's too strong to ever become a thing of the past. Because we know that love isn't just about romance. It's about friendships that happen seemingly by chance. And so I'll always be yours, and you'll always be mine, because our love is too strong and adaptable to ever unwind. Everyone cheered for Wolfie's amazing song, and then Maine said, "As heartwarming as this love is, we do still have some justice to serve, unfortunately." And then we showed Wolfie, Whoosh, and Zelly the evil lying letter that Sunny had written to us after Wolfie had escaped from him. "That's outrageous," Whoosh said indignantly. "Who does that maniac think that he is?" And Zelly said, "Do you have any ideas regarding how to bring him to justice?" "Firstly," Zom said. Thanks for making that food magical so that we wouldn't burn up when Sunny attacked us. You're welcome, Zelly said happily. I figured that he might try something like that, and then Runa explained that we were hoping that you and Whoosh could use your magic to figure out where some benevolent dragons are so that we can show them the letters and convince them to lock Sunny up in prison or something. Very good, Whoosh said, and then he did a spell that caused a map to appear in one of his hands, and he handed the map to Dawn and said, if you all simply follow this map, then you should reach some dragons who will be very offended by Sunny's unacceptable behavior and will lock him up so that he can't continue his reign of terror. Woohoo! Hoot said excitedly, and this location should only take us an hour or so to get to. And is it all right if I come along with the 8 of you too? Wolfie asked. I mean, I could be a useful witness. Of course, Ravana said. Having you along will indeed make the case that we'll present those dragons against Sunny even stronger. And here's some more food for the road for y'all too, Silly said while putting some food into some containers, just in case Sunny tries to burn you up again. We all gratefully accepted the food and thanked Zelly and Whoosh for all of their help, and then the 9 of us all began following the map that Whoosh had given to us, and it wasn't long at all before we arrived at the location where some benevolent dragons were at. Chapter 12, or actually, Chapter 13, Money. Maine quickly knocked on the mighty door that was now in front of us, and a dragon soon answered the door and asked us why we were visiting her and the other dragons. We immediately showed her the 2 letters that Sunny had written, and Wolfie explained about how she had been held captive by Sunny, and about how the second letter had been lying to cover up the fact that she'd escaped. This is pretty bad, the dragon said with a frown, and then she invited us to come inside, and she showed the letters to some other dragons too. Sunny has become a menace, one of the dragons said, and another dragon nodded and said, you travelers just wait here for a bit, and we'll go capture Sunny and put him in prison. And then the dragons flew off to go capture Sunny. Before long, they returned to us and offered to show us the prison that Sunny was now being contained in, and so the 9 of us all followed the dragons to where Sunny was being imprisoned. When we reached the location, Sunny said, see, they're all fine. How can you imprison me for being mean to them when they're all still traipsing around like nothing even happened? One of the dragons then did a facepalm and said, in these letters you admit to all sorts of crimes. I mean, you're free to defend yourself to a jury, but I doubt that a jury will exonerate you. And in the meantime, Sunny said furiously, don't I get to pay some money so that I'm not being imprisoned before even being convicted of anything? I mean, I'm filthy rich. I'll be able to pay whatever the bail amount might be. Our laws have recently changed so that there's no cash bail option anymore, one of the dragons said smugly, It's unjust to make it so that those who are rich enough can buy their freedom during a trial, but those who don't have as much money are kept in jail during a trial. And so your solution to this supposed injustice is to just keep everyone in jail during their trials? Sonny raged. All that you've done is make it so that even more people are being imprisoned while they haven't even been convicted of anything. I mean, what a total disgrace. The point is that either it seems too risky to have someone out and about during their trial, or it doesn't seem too risky to have someone out and about during their trial. One of the dragons said, how rich someone is shouldn't factor into it at all, which is why we tossed cash bail into the ash bin of history where it belongs. And it's too risky to have little old me out and about during the trial then? Sonny said while rolling his eyes. What a pathetic and disgusting mockery of justice you've all concocted, and once I'm rightly exonerated, you fools will be exposed as the despicable tyrants that you are. Epilogue. It turned out that Sonny did not end up getting exonerated, and a jury of his peers sentenced him to serve a very long time in prison. He promises that he'll escape, though, and is claiming that the entire multiverse must suffer for the injustice that the other dragons have committed against him. And as for me, I made a trip over to Bricks in hopes that he could help me build a house that would be sturdy enough to keep folks like Chucks from breaking in and gobbling me up. And Bricks kindly showed me how to construct a brick house, and just today the house was finally completed, and so now I can feel safe in my own home, and I won't have to do any more love or death deals to prevent myself from being gobbled up. The